bottom 4 teams in this division now, and that starts with the Florida Panthers in 5th spot. President's Trophy winners last season. It's been a very up and down year for the Panthers. Of course, Florida was the host of the NHL All-Star Weekend this past weekend that we all saw. 54 points in 52 games for the Florida Panthers. Case, let's go to you with a thought on the Panthers.
I'm probably not as hard on the Panthers as most people are. I'm going to give them a C+. I thought about a B-, honestly. It was a terrible start, but they've been good as of late. And I think they're going to continue to get better. They outshoot their team or their opponents like crazy. They're another great possession team. They've like 3rd in expected goals, right behind Carolina and Toronto, 5th best in expected goal differential. Like, this team should be doing better than they are, and not just on paper, but analytically as well. So yeah, the negatives are that they've had a terrible start and they're allowing a lot of goals, 25th in goals against, but that was the start of the season. And it's also a lot to do with their one of the league's worst penalty kills. So I think that this team can turn it around pretty quick, and I don't think that they're as bad as people are giving them for. Obviously, a lot of that's coming from their success last season, but I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are still fighting at the end of the season for a playoff spot.
Hey guys, I'm just interrupting this video to say that if you're watching this right now on YouTube, odds are you're not subscribed to our channel. So if you're enjoying this conversation, please hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell to be notified every time we upload. We release full-length episodes every Wednesday, and we post clips throughout the week too. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers at the moment, and we're going for 2 likes on this video, just 2 likes.
I think that's a pretty accurate assessment of the team, Case. Money Puck still has them at a 31% chance to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Like I said, I already mentioned that I think it'll be the top 3 teams in the Atlantic and then the top 5 in the Metro, just because of how it's going to shake out this year. But you're right. Like, the underlying numbers are still there offensively. That is, they're still generating a ton of opportunities. They're just not finishing. That's their one problem. And their second problem is that they haven't got goaltending virtually all season from either of their guys. Bobrovsky costs $10 million, and Spencer Knight starting next year costs $5 million. So, or roughly $5 million. I think just shy, 4.5 or something, 4.75. Yep. But for those reasons, for the poor management reasons that I'm going to touch on, I'm giving Florida a D+. Even though I think that they're a fine underlying team, or they have fine numbers underlying the team here offensively, I just don't think that, you can go from being a President's Trophy winning team to not making the playoffs and still get a passing grade or a good grade. I guess a D+ maybe is still passing. But point is, I'm not giving them a very good grade here because I think it's insane the drop off that's happened here. Not only are they 21st in the NHL right now, they also don't have a first round pick for the next 3 drafts because they traded for Claude Giroux, who they got 18 games out of. They traded for Ben Sherratt, who they got 20 games out of. And they traded for Matt Tkachuk, which, you know what? That's fine. He's having a really, really good season this year, potentially Hart caliber season this year. He's been that good and carrying this team offensively. But to not be in a playoff spot right now and to also not have any picks for the next 3 drafts in the first round, I think that's just poor management through and through. And then including the 2 big contracts for your goalies, both of whom are performing below league average right now. So I just think, although the underlying numbers are still okay, I can't give them anything better than a D+ because the performance just isn't there. 21st in the NHL just isn't good enough for the reigning President's Trophy winning team.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chad. I'm going to give Florida a D. I just think that there were a lot of decisions that didn't make sense. And other than Matthew Tkachuk, who has been as advertised with the Panthers, he's having an incredible season, one of the best point producers in the National Hockey League. A guy like Carter Verhaeghe, very quietly having an underrated season and a career season that is. And then one more bright spot for them, I guess, has been you could throw in the captain Alexander Barkov in there, but I look at this team. They are so shorthanded on the blue line when they're healthy. They really miss a guy like Mackenzie Weegar back there, and then whenever they have injuries to Aaron Ekblad or whoever back there, they're even more shorthanded. They found a nice player in Josh Mahura, who they got off waivers from Anaheim, but still, I think they're so shorthanded back there, and things wouldn't be going as well lately if it weren't for Alex Lyon. Funny enough, who's been pretty good for them as of late in goal, with Spencer Knight trying to come back from an injury and Sergei Bobrovsky being out and just being terrible, an aging goaltender with a bad contract. So I think that Florida should be a lot better. I don't think Paul Maurice was the right guy for this hockey team. Like we've mentioned before, they're not the same offensive dynamo that they were last season. So because of the regression, I'm with you, Chad. I'm going to give them a D.
Also, too, going back to my point about poor management of this team, they're still paying a combined $6.5 million for Scott Darling and Keith Yandel, both of whom have been out of the league now. I mean, I guess Yandel it was just last year, but $6.5 million bucks. They are right up against the cap. They've been trying to activate Anthony Duclair now for a while, who's on LTIR. He's healthy, so people say, but he can't play because they don't have any cap space. And another guy is Patrick Hornquist too. So just the management, I don't think has been very good. But who knows? Like, there's still a lot of talent on this team, and if they're a playoff team next year, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, exactly.